So remember when I said Volcano and Dante's Peak both bombed at the box office? Well, it turns out I was wrong. Because I don't like to count. Anyways, today we're gonna, check out, oh darn. I'm out of ideas. What twins films do I got? I got, Big Trouble in Little China and Showdown in Little Tokyo. These two sound interesting. So yeah, that's what we're gonna take a look at. Let's start off with Big Trouble in Little China. It originated from the first-time screenplay Gary Goldman and David Z. Goldman was inspired by some martial arts films with all sorts of wacky action and special effects. They wanted it to take place in the 19th century of San Francisco Chinatown, but then they changed their minds and wanted to take place in the 1880s. Executive producer Paul Marnock took a look at the script and renamed it to what we all know, Big Trouble in Little China. Also, W.D. Richard said this:
I really did believe that it was a mistake to try to get a double remove on the audience. You're asking them to go to a period western, get used to all those little eccentric realities, and then go one step further into a yet more exotic world. I thought, why bother? It's a pretty funny planet we live on, so why don't we start there and then go into this strange netherworld?
Wow, that was the longest sentence I have ever heard. Monarch, remember, he had some issues with the script because it came largely in the fact that set in the turn of the century San Francisco, and so they said screwdriver this and made it take place in the modern day entirely. Everything was going smoothly until Fox removed the writers entirely from the film, but they didn't do anything, so W.D. Richard was replaced to be the writer, and he had to rewrite everything in the script to make it more modern day. The straightforward cowboy hero was reimagined as a truck driver named Jack Bustern. His draft was written in 10 weeks. 10 freaking weeks in progress to research Chinese mythology. Richard's script was stopped around by directors. Unfortunately, all of them said no. That is until John Carpenter said he will be interested in making this movie. Everything was going smoothly this time, but there was another movie called The Golden Child that had the exact same plot as this movie. But I'm not talking about that movie right now because I don't care. And John Carpenter said this:
how many adventure pictures dealing with Chinese mysticism have been released by the major studios in the past 20 years? For two of them to come along at the exact same time is more than mere coincidence.
Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson were proposed to be Jack Bustern, but unfortunately they weren't interested. So they got Kurt Russell to work with John Carpenter again. For the fourth time, the studio wanted to have good visual effects, just like Ghostbusters, so they gave them $19 to $25 million. So when the movie was released, it gained positive reviews from critics and audiences. But unfortunately, not enough people saw it and bombed at the box office. However, this movie has become a cult classic over the years, so I guess there's still hope for John Carpenter then. Next is Showdown in Little Tokyo. Now, it should be The Golden Child because I literally just said it has a very resemblance to Big Trouble, but so does this one, so I don't care. There's not that much to its development, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Lester said the film was taken over by the studio entirely, so the director no longer had freedom over the film and recut everything without his involvement because Warner Brothers can do whatever they want when they want. And because the studio meddled with the film so much, when the film was released, it got negative reviews from critics and audiences, and was a commercial failure as well. Thanks, WB. But over time, this film has generated a cult following since its release. But that's only because Warner Bros. Wasn't happy with the re-edits and sent it to home video. I'm starting to think that Warner Bros. Is the worst film company of all time right now. And that's all I can say for these two. There's not that much to talk about. So I'm just gonna end the video here. Goodbye.